guys, it is Aoife from Fred We See Died Laughing, and I'm here with another Top 5 Wednesday, and it's the last Top 5 Wednesday of 2015, which is insane. So Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group created by Ginger Reads Lainey, and I will leave the Goodreads group and Lainey's channel down below if anyone is interested in checking it out. So this week's topic is Top 5 Favourite Books of 2015, and this one was a really hard one. I had kind of compiled 10 to 12 books myself that were my favourites that I thought, so it was actually quite hard to narrow them down to 5. So I think I have my 5, and they're definitely ones that I really enjoyed. Some of them surprised me, some of them just completely captured me, and I will tell you what those are now. They're not in any particular order, but the first one I'm going to talk about is Every Day by David Levithan. This is my first ever David Levithan book. I had heard quite a lot about it. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, and it ended up being absolutely fantastic. If people don't know what this book is about, it is about a boy called A, and he's not really a boy, he's more of a soul. And every day he wakes up in a different body. He can be a boy, he can be a girl, he doesn't know. He just wakes up in a different body every single day. But then one day he wakes up in the body of a boy, and he ends up falling in love with the boy's girlfriend, and he ends up trying to explain to her what he is, and they kind of end up trying to, get into a relationship, kind of become friends, and it's about him kind of trying to be a real person, I guess, rather than just pretending to be someone else. He's trying to, for the first time ever, he's able to be himself, or itself, I guess, is the best way to describe him. I just say him because the first time we meet him, he's in a boy's body, but he's basically more of an it. It's just really fantastic. I read this one day when my train was broken down, and I was stuck on my train for an extra 40 minutes or something, and I ended up, it's very easy to read, so I ended up absolutely flying through it, and I was basically finished it, and I had no other book for my train ride home then later on that day, and I was just absolutely obsessed with it. It completely changed my views about kind of how people identify themselves, self-identity, kind of gender identity, sexual identity, how you can love a boy and a girl, or I don't know, it just really made me think about things, and it was just one of those books that really opened my eyes and really made me think, about what it is to be someone, and what it is to have a soul, and are we more than just who we are in our bodies? Is it really our souls? And what is a boy, what is a girl? What is a soul? That kind of thing, those kind of questions, and I loved that, and I really loved it. So that's why it's in my favourite, because it just made me ask so many questions, and I really enjoyed reading it. The next book I have is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is a recent read for me, and I think it's probably going to be one of my favourite books of all time, I think. I got it from the library, but I'm planning to get my own copy of it soon, because I just love it that much, because I know I will reread it. This is about a girl called Agnieszka, and she lives in a village that is kind of controlled by a lord called the Dragon, and he's a magician. And every 10 years he takes a girl to keep up in his tower, and no one knows what happens to the girls within the 10 years, but they always come out a little bit changed, and they never want to stay around, and they always end up disappearing off to another part of the kingdom. And this is about Agnieszka, who gets chosen by the dragon, and what happens when she is chosen. So this is kind of a really great fantasy standalone novel. It's the kind of book that has everything you want in it. It has kind of a steamy kind of relationship. It has a brilliant female friendship, which I absolutely adored. A really great kind of magic system in it. A really great villain, which is kind of a different villain than anyone has ever probably known before. I mean, the villain is an evil wood, and how can you even try and conquer that kind of thing when it's this massive entity all on its own? You've no idea how to get rid of it, and it was really interesting to see them try and figure it out. This is a book that I actually actively slowed down my reading. I didn't want to finish it quickly because I wanted to be in that world for as long as I could. I wanted to devour every single word and every single page of this book because I loved it so much. I never wanted to leave it. So I'm really I just love this book so much, and I really want everyone to read it, and I'm really hoping to read more of Naomi Novik's writing because I really loved this one, so I'm really really, really excited to see what our other books are like as well. The next book I'm going to talk about I actually have a physical copy of, and this is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is in my top 5 because I think I just wasn't really sure what to expect. This is obviously a book about, it's a sci-fi book. It is, well, it is a sci-fi book. It is set in a future where there is a virtual reality and basically everything is done, education, jobs, gaming, leisure, everything is done in this virtual reality. And the man who created the virtual reality dies, and he leaves all these clues that people have to try and find. And if people find 3 clues to unlock a certain gate, they end up basically inheriting the whole virtual reality estate that he has left behind, and they become like multi-millionaires. And it's about a boy trying to, unlock these clues, and it is just absolutely amazing. I had no idea whether I was going to like it because it's so very much a sci-fi novel and it's about gaming, and I'm not really a huge gamer, so I didn't know whether I would completely understand the world, and I ended up absolutely loving it. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Obviously, I just really loved the world it was set in. I loved the idea of the virtual reality because I think it's a very, the idea of virtual reality and the idea of it becoming such a huge part of our society is a very real thing. And I think in, 100 years, we could be looking at something quite similar to what is in this book. Or maybe not 100 years, but, eventually. It would be really, really interesting. But yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. It was just such a fun ride. It was just so different from what I normally read. So unique. And if anyone hasn't read this, I'd tell you to read it. I'm pretty sure it's becoming a movie with Steven Spielberg directing it, which is amazing. So if you haven't read it, I would definitely recommend you to read it. The next book I have is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. This is a book I read on my summer holidays in August. It was just something I had on my Kindle. I picked it up really randomly. I had heard, since starting BookTube and watching BookTube videos, I had heard a lot about Morgan Matson, but I hadn't been completely pushed into reading her because I didn't just want to read a book just because everyone kept talking about her. But I just randomly picked it up on my Kindle, started reading it, absolutely fell in love. Since You've Been Gone is about a girl whose best friend leaves her behind, just kind of moves away for no reason, but she leaves her a list of all these things to do during the summer she's gone. And the main girl is kind of an introvert, she's very shy, she's no other friends, and through this list she ends up going on all these crazy adventures and making new friends and new romances and all this kind of stuff. And it's just so much fun. I just really, really loved it. It was just absolutely adorable. It has these cute music playlists, and yeah, it was just a really great look into the world of Morgan Matson. And I haven't picked up another book yet, but I'm really, really hoping to pick it up soon, as she has a new book coming out in 2016, which I will definitely be reading. So yes, this book definitely turned me on to how great Morgan Matson's writing is, and I can't wait to read more of her books. And the last book I'm going to talk about, everyone who watches my channel is probably sick of me talking about it, but it's Because You'll Never Meet Me by Leah Thomas. This is a book I got on NetGalley during the summer, and it is absolutely just a beautiful read. It is about a boy called Ollie who is allergic to electricity, and a boy called Moritz who lives in Germany, and he has no eyes and he also has a pacemaker. And Ollie and Moritz kind of become pen pals to each other, and the thing is they're becoming best friends and kind of confidants to each other, but they can never meet because obviously Ollie is allergic to electricity, so can't be around Moritz and his pacemaker, or they could both kind of kill each other. And it's just about their relationship and their friendship and how they help each other, and it's just so beautiful, really, really great, quite diverse, I think. And if anyone hasn't read this beautiful, beautiful book, you have to read it because it's amazing, and I think more people should be reading it because I don't think enough people have picked it up. So please, 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 if you don't read any other books on this list, please read Because You'll Never Meet Me because it's amazing. So that is my list. I hope everyone has an amazing new year, and Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a very happy Christmas, and I will see you guys again next time. So bye.